When I first had sex, I told my dad. I mean, it was months after I told him, but he was the first person I told.
That must have been awkward though.
Very.
That must have been an
Because he
awkward.
cried.
Oh
And I
wow.
felt very responsible for that.
Damn. I'm sorry.
I feel like women are shamed into certain things. Sex is bad, it's naughty, but for boys, be promiscuous. So I want to know.
No, I haven't said that. I don't do that to myself.
So do you tell your daughter to save herself to marriage?
Yes, of
And
course.
do you tell your son?
It felt like you were in a hot seat for a minute.
When I was raised, I know that the conversation my dad had with me was very different to the one he had with to my brother. So when he would speak to my brother, it was very much like, get that girl, like, you can do what you want, like, be confident, tell that girl, what's the big deal, the last she can say is no.
We have so much channels on TVs today that showcases sexual activities, and it's just too much. Even the so-called cartoons we think our kids are watching, a lot of them have got same-sex relationships in it, and if you're not there to watch with them, you would miss it. The way the world is changing and evolving, I'm scared for kids because there is a lot happening.
My mom literally looked at me one day when I got back from uni then, and she said, okay, you're welcome to another amazing episode of Salon Session powered by MoBeautyBar. And you already know that I'm here. I'm your host. My name is Beanball. I'm never alone. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I can tell you one thing for sure. You're wondering what this guy on low cut is looking for in a beauty salon? Trust me, it's something that will make your day, something that will blow your minds away. I'm not alone, like I said before on the show. I've got beautiful people right next to me, and I cannot wait to meet them. I'm a gentleman, so I'll start with the lady first. How you doing?
Hi, Bimbo. My name is Fumi.
Okay, nice to meet you, Fumi.
Nice to meet you too.
What do you do?
I'm a banker.
Oh, interesting. How about you?
My name's Funke.
Oh, Funke. Nice to meet you. What do you do?
I do a lot of things. So I'm an entrepreneur. So I run several businesses, and I'm also running a school.
Okay, so Fumi, Funke. My guess, you're Femi.
No.
Of course not. Of course you're not Femi. What's your name?
My name is Mario.
Mario.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Let me breathe, huh? So what do you do, Mario?
A property broker.
I think I'm in the right place today, honestly, if I do say so myself. All right, so the conversation today is one that a lot of people would term as gray. Now, when you talk about parenting, there are a whole lot of things behind parenting. I'm not a parent yet. Let me just put it out there. So my market is still open. But what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is we're about to trash an issue that a lot of people would say it is the gray area in parenting, which is, well, let me let the cat out of the bag. It's called sex education. You see, it sounds really scary, huh? Especially for parents, you know, when you want to talk about that with your kids. But most importantly for kids, when you want to address that with your parents, which I think never really happens. So I'm just going to pick your thoughts on it real quick. To you, what does sex education mean?
Understanding my body, first of all, and learning about boundaries when it comes to my body and access to it. That, I think, is foundational.
Okay. Well said, actually. Well said. How about you?
I would echo what she said. So I definitely think it's about, knowing your body, also knowing the other person's body, and knowing about enjoyment of sex and that side of it. I think sometimes it's just discussed as a biological thing. So I think knowing about the emotions attached to sex is a huge part of the education.
All right. I want to ask you, Mario, but from another man to another man, I'm not really sure how that will sound. But you've heard the question already, so
Sex education is actually, of course, learning about your body, basically, like my other two parents here just spoke about. And of course, also learning about healthy relationships and also knowing your boundaries, when to stop and when to tell the other person to stop, basically. It's also learning about proper information as regards sex. And these will help you guide yourself as regards sex, really.
Okay. Well said, honestly. And if there's anything that has featured in all of the statements you've all made, it would be the term consent. Yeah, and I feel that's something a whole lot of people of today needs to know about. needs to be aware of, and of course, we should talk about it more, especially with kids. And that brings me to the next phase of this conversation. Trust me, it's not an interview, it's pretty much a conversation. So I'll tell you this. Growing up for you as a lady, what was sex education like for you with your parents?
Okay, so I actually spent my early years with my grandparents. I think I moved to my parents' house my first year in uni. So for my grandma, it was non-existent, and it was basically hearing it over and over again, like if you get pregnant, you're keeping it. And I think that for me, I was taught the consequence. And when you think about the consequence, it just makes you align with what should not be. I'm not going to get pregnant, so well, it's not even a topic. Like, don't touch me, don't kiss me, don't even hold my hand, because if I get pregnant, I'm keeping it. I want to ride jam. So that was it. It was the consequences that was the phase for me before I got to my parents. But on the plus side, when I was going to uni, I did have a conversation with my parents that now spoke more about it. Like, you've been protected, but now you're going to the real world. You're not in that small town anymore. This is what. So I think I had a conversation, but I was already I was like 18 or 17. So it didn't really matter at that point.
Okay. I want to pry, but I don't want to pry because you said it doesn't matter anymore. It didn't matter at the time.
Yes, because, and I hold this so dear, and I always tell people too, I'm of the opinion that if you don't teach your kids, the world will teach them. So it's like you have to beat the world to it, because regardless, they'll absorb information one way or another. Between the mother and the father, I think both carry equal responsibility. For the mother, it depends on, I think, probably the gender, because most girls are more comfortable with their mother, especially when you start your period and stuff like that. Majority of girls will not run to their dad, right? So maybe mom can have like an introductory conversation, and they could have a joint conversation later. But from a certain, when you know your kids are ready, it's very important that dad and mom keep equal stance and have conversations together as a family. So it's not like it was needed, but I already learned some things about it. Do you know, I already had people that had already gone into it in secondary school. So it was like, the conversation was just like, okay, I'm not pregnant still, but thank you.
Honestly, I completely get that, honestly. And you're completely right when you said if you don't see them, I mean, the world would.
Yeah.
It's a digital world. People find information everywhere. And trust me, you don't want them finding out themselves.
The way the world is changing and evolving, I'm scared for kids because there is a lot happening when it comes to sex education. They're so much exposed. A lot of them are exposed to technology, phones and all of those. And just them not even visiting whatever site, just the pop-up of your phone, you see some sexual activities which will not even help the kids. So it's putting the kids at danger. So there's so much happening in the technological setting right now that is affecting the children, and it's not really helping. But as parents, you need to come up with strategies to speak to your kids to help them stay focused as a child, and also help them start a healthy relationship that will help them not become that child that will become a terrible child in this society.
But I totally understand the concept of your parents or your grandparents scaring you to the idea of it.
Yeah.
That is one way to. But how about you?
I would also say growing up with my parents, it wasn't really a conversation that was had. So with my dad, he was more very much just like, as you said, he just said things like, don't get pregnant. And he would say, even if I just smell that you've got a boyfriend, I'm going to lock you in the house. So that was my dad. My mum didn't necessarily have a conversation with me about sex per se, but she did introduce the idea of like the emotions and liking somebody. So she would have that sort of conversation with me, like, oh, do you like this person? But we didn't ever speak about sex itself.
Okay, so I think a lot of African parents, right, would rather not talk about something because they think it's sensitive. But when I think it should be the reverse. Because it's sensitive, why we should talk about it. But then, I think for men, it's completely different. That is why I'm glad Mary is here. What was it like for you?
Okay, so I lost my dad while I was pretty young and had just my mom. Although she's an educationist, but she never told us about sex. She never sat us down one day to teach us about sex or to speak about sex. What she rather did was send us to church, send us to groups that involves young children. We would learn prayers, we would learn how to sing. And at one point in my life, I wanted to become a priest because I loved everything about the church.
Oh, nice.
And so it helped me. I read my Bible. I would want to sing. I wanted to become a priest. I also learned from our gathering that sex can give you a lot of disease, STIs. And that was when HIV was everywhere. So the awareness was so much, was so huge, and it became really scary. So I never thought of it. So I thought of, okay, why instead of getting involved with my opposite sex, why not just become a priest and just live your life all by yourself? All right, so forgetting the fact, because it wasn't promoted in the church that we're supposed to use protectives, such as the CDs and all of those. Yeah. So for my parents, that's how I grew up, and it helped me actually up until now.
You're a real one. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Shortly, I'll be introducing a special guest.
Okay.
And this is one that would have your minds blown. Trust me. But right before I introduce that guest to you, if you were to teach someone about sex education today, preferably your kids, how would you go about it?
First of all, the conversation will probably happen when they're, say, 10, when they're going to secondary school. Yes. Because for me, I have a son. I have two sons, sorry.
Oh, nice.
The oldest is 9. So from 0 to 5, is strictly conversation on boundaries, which is, for me, is first of all, introducing the body parts as exact. We'll call this what exactly it is, right? I'm trying not to just say it on the show, but like you call it what it is and say, oh, this is what, nobody touches you here. It's a joint conversation that happens between myself and their father. So you're sitting here, nobody's having it behind you. So mommy is not allowed to do this, daddy is not allowed to do this. And then when you're 5, 10, and you have control over you can wear your clothes, you can do stuff yourself at that point and have your bath alone. It becomes, when you go to school, when you go into the bathroom, no educator is allowed to follow you there. As for privacy, my kids ask for privacy from age 3.
Oh,
because
nice.
also as a mom, I make it the foundation of everything. You don't come in without knocking. I don't dress in front of you once you're 3. I excuse myself. So all those tiny things will lead up to, I'm trying to say the foundation of the conversation. So are you saying I should say it the way I would speak to them if they were sitting in front of me?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
But you will probably have the chance to do that shortly.
Yes, but so when we get to 10, it will now be more of a very descriptive one because I was brought up a protected child. But I also know that I mixed with kids that were not from those kind of homes. So the things that my parents were listening to Tokwe Alabi till a certain age, just Christian, those are the things we're consuming. But that's not how life is. When I got to school, I had people from the streets, people that were raised differently, and everybody would come and we're conversing. Everybody would say whatever they had. So for me, I know that at some point you can't protect them that much, right? I'm going to equip them with necessary conversations like, oh, when you get here, you need to know how to filter out some things. Not everything your friends say is true. You don't have a phone, but your friend that his mom and dad have given him a phone might see this on the internet. It's not always true. Always ask questions. Yeah.
I like that. There's a lot of depth in that, actually. Yeah. And that makes a bunch of sense. Trust me. And we'll put that to the test shortly. How about you?
So for me, whilst I was raised in a traditional African home, I was raised abroad. So the topic of sex education is introduced first at school. So, and I think that's fine. So my children are first introduced to that idea at school. And then they'll come home and say, okay, today we learned about this topic, and then that opens the floor for me to then have a conversation with them and kind of see whether or not what they've learnt is what I'm happy for them to have been taught, or if I need to rectify it. So how I would go about that conversation, and for me, I wouldn't put an age on it because I think every child develops at a different stage. So I'm a mother of 4 boys. So I think their desires are going to develop at different stages. So I'll have the conversation when I think that child is ready to have that conversation. If I'm seeing signs of, interest in the other sex, I think it's better to have conversations out in the open. I just think there's more accessibility to content that you may not want your children to have access to at a young age, or interest into those things. So I wouldn't have a prescriptive age at which I'd have that discussion or anything like that, but I'd just first start with, okay, so you're feeling this, what do these feelings mean? What does that look like? And then I would also have a discussion with them about sexual health. So, when the time comes that you think that you're ready to do that, these are the things that you need to make sure that you do. And that would also, because I have boys, definitely be a conversation on consent.
So how would you go about it from a perspective of a father?
It's a lot of time, actually, in most African houses or homes. The parents, amongst the 2 parents, the father is the most feared person. And having conversation with kids usually is so difficult, most especially sex education. But as a father who wants the best for a child, there is need to teach these kids. I've got 3 of them. I've got 2 boys and a girl. Of the 3 of them, the girl is actually my best friend.
The girl?
Yes.
I like that.
So a lot of the things that she's experiencing right now, puberty and all of us, she talks to me more about it. And I reiterate that to her mom. She doesn't find it really funny. She doesn't like it, but I say, go to her. She'll tell you more about it. I'm just the guy here. I've over time called them together, the 3 of them, and teach them about sex education. Just like she said earlier, she talked about their body parts, which is very important. Now, the part which is meant to be private, the reason why it's called a private part, is meant to be kept private. So even in your house, you're supposed to keep your parts private. Whatever place that is public, of course, is open. So in all of these things, it's over time taught them how to flip the channels when they tend to see some sexual scenes, understanding that it is supposed to be, they are not supposed to be seeing that. We have so much channels on TVs today that showcases sexual activities, and it's just too much. Even the so-called cartoons we think our kids are watching, a lot of them have got same-sex sexual relationships in it. And if you're not there to watch with them, you would miss it, thinking they are seeing just cartoons. And they are not just seeing cartoons. So over time, I tend to sit with them, watch, and we explain whatever we see together. If it involves the sexual activities, we talk about it, and then they know their boundaries and when to say no. So it helps to build healthy relationships with people and themselves.
Okay, well said.
Ask him a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Because I wanted to ask, when you're having a conversation, does the nature of the conversation differ when you're having that conversation to your boy as opposed to your daughter? So what you're advising them in terms of sex and how to go about it, is it different when you're speaking to your daughter?
So most of those times, away from the general conversation I have with them, I have individual conversations with them as well. I mean, I was the first person who helped my boy to shave his beard. I mean, it's armpit bears. That to tell him this is how you go about this. It's pubic region. I shaved myself, and I told him this is how you use it. Now this is just meant to be yours. You're not to share with your brother. You're not to share with me. So all of these things I try to teach them.
So what I'm getting at, for example, when I was raised, I know that the conversation my dad had with me was very different to the one he had with to my brother. So when he would speak to my brother, it was very much like, get that girl, like, you can do what you want, like, be confident, tell that girl, what's the big deal? The last she can say is no. But when he was having conversations with me, it was different. And the only reason I know this is, obviously my brother would share that with me. As I mentioned earlier, my dad treated my brother and myself very differently, and I felt like that wasn't a good positive image. So I felt like regardless of gender, he should have taught us similar things. So I'm asking, when you're having the conversation in terms of advising your children about sex when that time comes, is it different to your girl? Like, are you saying to your girl, hold yourself to marriage, and then saying to your son, well, you know, when you're ready to do that, this is how you should go about it?
Yes, sure. That's what I'm saying. Away from the general conversations I would have with them about private parts, their body parts, basically, I'd have individual conversations with them as well. The ones that is meant for the boys, I do that conversation.
So is it different? So
It's different, yeah.
So you're telling your son.
I'm not saying that's what.
But that's what I want to know. I want to
No,
know.
but it's different, really. Usually, when I have a conversation with my girl, I just let her know that not everybody should be your friend. Of course, when they touch a particular part of your body, you should tell them no. And the other guys,
So
of
are
course,
you
I'm giving the guys some confidence to be able to express themselves.
But that's what I want to know. Are you telling your daughter? Because I feel like women are shamed into certain things. Sex is it's bad, it's naughty, but for boys, be promiscuous. So I want to know.
No,
if
I
that's what
haven't
you're
said
telling.
that. I don't do that to myself.
So do you tell your daughter to save herself to marriage?
Yes, of
And
course.
do you tell your son that?
Same thing.
So that's what I'm.
Don't worry.
To be honest,
Yeah,
it felt like you were in the hot seat for a minute.
yeah, not just for a minute, for about 3 minutes, actually.
Yeah, actually really enjoy that. Honestly, I think we should have more of that on the show today. Honestly.
Yes, but I mean, you can understand where she's coming
Yeah, I
from, right?
do, actually.
Nigerian parents protect the girls,
And they
then
tell the
champion
boy,
boys like,
do it.
yeah.
I know, but I wouldn't do that because it puts both the girl and the guy in trouble. Okay,
Yeah.
it's still the same body parts we're talking about. It's
Yeah.
just that it's masculine and this is feminine. Now, whatever the guy goes through at the end of the day, now we have STIs, STDs. Or if he,
Man, you're just mentioning
it's terrible.
It's not reduced to that alone.
Yes, it's not even
It's not
reduced
reduced
to
to
that.
that.
Yes,
So she
it's
had
also
mentioned
it also can reduce
boys too. Like I'm raising boys too, and like she said, I'm actually very scared because when they sit in front of me, no matter what I put on the table, what I also tell them is that make sure that you're getting consent at every stage, because if someone falsely accuses you and you have no proof, what leg are you standing on? If we're being
Right.
honest.
But also not
Yeah.
just about consent. I think also for boys, because there's a lack of discussion about boys also being violated by women. So
True.
for me, there's also a discussion around women too shouldn't be forward with you.
True.
And you shouldn't allow that. So I feel like a lot of the time, you know, it's not a big deal if a guy has, you know, you've had sex at 12, but you would be mortified if that was your daughter. So I also would be mortified if it was my boys. So I don't want any women
Take
to
advantage.
go near
to
you.
take advantage.
Take advantage of the boys, basically. So that's the truth, really.
Okay, all right. That was a good chat. Honestly, we're taking a quick break right now. Right when we take that break, I'll tell you how I ever heard about it first. My mom literally looked at me one day when I got back from uni then, and she said, hope you've not started making love. I promise you, I was confused. But you know what, let's take a quick break. I'll be introducing you to the guests shortly. Stick around. So how you doing, Yuma?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering, Yuma, is that your full name?
No,
So
my full name is Ogene Woyoma.
Oh, I like that. But I think we just stick with Yuma.
Thank you very much.
Because I might be caught, somewhere in the tongue twister trying to pronounce that. So how old are you?
I'm 15 years old.
15. You're a big boy. So you're what class?
I'm in SS3.
Wow. SS3. Perfect. In fact, very perfect. So why do you think, off the top of your mind, why do you think you're here?
I'm here to be educated on the basis of sex education.
Ooh, who told you that? Somewhere it's about to be caught. Or you've been listening to the conversation since.
Yeah, from the conversation topics, you can understand that the basis of sex education is the reason why I'm here.
All right, smart kid. I like that. I like him already. So you know what's going to happen to you, right? You're about to take you to school, but not really them. They're about to educate you, and most importantly, tell you things that might kind of blow your mind a little bit. It should blow your mind a little bit. So this is the task at hand for me, Funke and Myron. We're about to test you. You said this was how you learned about sex education, right? You've said your stories. You said yours as well. We're about to put you to the test. You're about to teach this young man like your own. If you were to talk to your kids about sex for the first time, how would you go about it? mind you, we're going to rate you. So somebody's going to win. So if you're competitive, please strap
I
up.
am.
All right, so how do we start? Should we start from the man or should we start from the women?
Start from
Wow. When we were introducing the guest, you went first. And you were
I've been
happy with
going
that?
first. I feel like I've been going first. And she said she's competitive. She's ready. I probably need like a minute.
Okay, perfect. She made her case. Do we all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then let's make it work. So yes, okay. Up to you. How would you teach this young man about sex?
Hi, honey. How are you?
Doing well, ma. Thank you very much.
And how's your day been?
It has been great, ma.
So we've had some discussions before around feelings, how you feel about people, and what that means. So today I want to have a discussion and take it a little bit further about sex. So have you heard about sex before?
Yes,
So where have you heard about sex?
at school.
And what did they tell you? What's the reason for sex? Why do you have sex?
To procreate, to make your own young ones.
Is that all they've told you about sex? Is there any other purpose that you might have sex?
No other touchings.
So, I want to talk to you about that because I think you've learned about the biology of sex, but it's also important to understand that some people have sex, when you're really fond of someone, you might feel like you want to make a better connection with them. And in order to make that connection, sometimes people think that the way to do that is to have sex. So, have you had any strong feelings towards someone?
Not really.
Okay, so there will come a time that you might have some strong feelings for someone and your body might actually start to react to that. And at that time, you might feel like you want to have sex. And there are some key things that I want to tell you. And those key things are, number one, it is important to ensure that that special lady really wants to do that act. So she wants to move forward with you. So it's really important that you understand that. My preference as your mother would be that you do that when you're married. But I understand as society changes that you might want to do that before that time comes. And another thing that I think is really important, unless you're ready to become a father, and also in the interest of sexual health, that you use a condom. So have you been told what the purpose of a condom is?
Yes.
So therefore you know that sometimes people have sex and the objective isn't to procreate.
Yes.
So it's just have fun. So I want you to do that and do it safely. Do you have any questions?
No.
But I want you to know if there's anything you want to talk to me about, you can come to me and talk to me or your father about that in a very free environment.
Okay, let's give her a round of applause, please. That was very smooth. That was really, really smooth, honestly. That was calm. That was very,
That was
very
good.
calm. Okay, you're on the clock. Mario, you're next, and it's your turn. So the floor is yours.
Well done, Yoma. Well done. For what you said you've been taught sex education in school, and it's for procreation, right?
Yes. That's
Yes, as animals that we are, there are two types of animals, rational and irrational animals. And the rational animals are the higher animals, which that's the humans, while the irrational ones are the ones that are animals both in the bush and in our homes, right? Now, the procreation you talked about, you see, those irrational animals have sex with several animals and they procreate, while the rational ones have sex with their spouses, and their spouses simply means they are married, right? Now, what it means is for those of you who are young and still learning in school, who are yet to get married, you shouldn't involve yourself in sex. I understand that your body could want to move for some person's your opposite sex, and that's when you can seek advice from your parents and your guidance. Is that clear? At this point in time as well, I'd like you to put on your self-control. Okay, that will help you stay up until marriage. So it's important you know that you can contract sexually transmitted disease from sex.
Okay, Mario. Hold on, slow down a bit. Slow down a bit. I told you you're on the clock, right?
You didn't just let me finish. There was no so much time to do that. But it's a lesson to learn. You should be able to convince a child on what to do within a stipulated time. So that helps the child to think really fast.
You're
Yeah.
on the clock, so I think I'm gonna have to jump in for a minute.
Okay, please.
Okay, you're on the clock. So I think I love your approach, honestly. That was different. You literally took me back to school, and that was good, honestly. So time up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 60 seconds. I told you.
Oh, great. That's fine.
You're in the box.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so we'll have to move to phone. Are you ready?
Some way, yeah.
Okay, let's make it work. Make it happen.
Hi, Oma.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Okay, so I know you had mentioned that they taught you sex education in school. I would like to speak more to you on the consequences and how you can look out for yourself and others when engaging in it, when it's time. First of all, sex is natural. It's one of the most beautiful things when done correctly. And there are consequences on your body, your mind, and also your future. First of all, when speaking on your body, is you playing safe, right? Make sure that you're practicing it safely when it's time for you, and also looking out for yourself and the other party, and also preventing unwanted pregnancies for the other party and your own self too, which might in turn affect your future, which speaks to the future part. When it comes to your mind, there are feelings that develop when you become very intimate and close with the other party. You have to think about yourself, think about the other party, and how it affects your personal life. I think I could have explained better to you, Ma, but I don't know how to play role play when it comes to my kids. If it was my child on that chair, definitely would have.
Okay, well done. Well done to everybody. Honestly, well done to everybody. Well said. Honestly, if I'm going to summarize everything everyone has said, she came from a place of empathy, a place of love, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, you came from the biological aspect, from the rational thinking, and you came from the scary aspect of thinking about the consequences of your actions. You get me, and you couldn't have done it any better. Honestly, I think you're lucky to have heard this the way you have, in different perspectives. But it then comes down to the finish line of be honest with me right now. Look at me. Who do you think taught you better amongst the three of them?
I should choose just one.
Just one. You've got just one.
Out of the three of them. All right. It's really hard to choose because she came from a motherly aspect.
Okay.
He came from another aspect which deals with the diseases you can contact from one having sex. And she came from the consequences.
Real.
These three aspects can be joined to form one. And I really think these are three great minds. But it's really hard to choose just one.
Please give this boy a round of applause.
It was very, very interesting, actually. I mean, we have beautiful mothers who are very intelligent. They are not bimbos, actually. They're beauty mothers and intelligent ones at that.
You're
Give you a round of
amazing.
applause. And most importantly, this boy, you make a good politician. just so we're clear, you make a very good politician. That was well put. Even me, I can't even beat that. I can't beat that. So we'll be wrapping up shortly, right? But first, just on a lighter note, if you were to share with me the weirdest experience you ever had in terms of this conversation with your folks, which would it be?
My dad. I'm a daddy's girl, just
Okay.
like his daughter. That's why I was blushing when he said it. So yes, I think that when I first had sex, I told my dad. I mean, it was months after I told him, but he was the first person I told. Right? It was very emotional, and just like I said, he had told me how to deal going forward. He came from a very fatherly place, speaking about emotions, and just because he has been like that all my life, it also formed a stronger bond for my father and myself.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. That must have been awkward, though.
very.
That must have been an
Because he
awkward.
cried.
Oh,
And I
wow.
felt very responsible for that. Yes, and I understood. I regretted telling him in the moment, but
Yeah.
I could see how, because I know that as a parent now,
Yeah.
I'm too sure he just thought that my girl
What's going on?
fell off.
What's going on? I mean, I love the honesty and I love the candor, honestly. And that's really amazing. How about you, Chicken?
My most awkward sexual encounter will probably be the first time. And for me, I think it was just a waste of time. So it wasn't, sadly, a love story.
Heartbreak.
And it was just not nice. So, yeah.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry. How long are you married?
I want to be honest, actually, but I can't be right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
So
All right,
let's
that's
just
fine.
leave it that way.
That's fine. We'll probably take that another time.
Thank you.
We'll take that another time. Honestly, I really hope you've been enlightened. I mean, one thing about conversations like this that I'm grateful for is, I mean, this is 2025 and we can have this in open. You know, one of the tiers of passing the message across is information, educating people. You can pass the message across without necessarily educating them. But in this very amazing conversation, regardless of how great it started off, I think we've been able to learn one way or the other, and I'm pretty sure you watching as well, you must have picked a thing or two, if not a bunch of things. So that would help you either as a parent or as a partner or as a kid. And to this young man for coming on the show, I'll tell you this for free. You are one smart man, and your dad's lucky to have you.
Thank you very much.
Honestly. Well, on that note, I can say that we're done and it's a wrap for this edition. Hopefully you need to, keep looking out for more of this. There's more to come. And remember, if you want to have a good time, MoBeautyBar, that is where you want to be as a lady, even as a man, as you can see. I mean, it's a beauty salon where you can take care of yourself. Don't worry, the link is in bio. You can know where to find us. So just come have a great time. And on that note, for me, Funke, Mario, Yoma, thanks for coming on the show. You guys are the real MVPs, by the way. Thank you so much. And this is pretty much how I'll be wrapping it up today on Salon Sessions.
I love my hair. It's perfect.
I adore it. It's beautiful. Look at it. It's completely laid, completely down. I totally recommend MoBeautyBar. I actually only use MoBeautyBar. Best salon in town.